Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. In light of all these different things going on with Luis Ortiz and Anthony Joshua, with Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., we have to break down everything and be honest and unbiased about what we see. And what we see here with Al Haymon, the PBC, it's ultimately the cancer and bad for boxing. And let's start, with the fighters. You have Luis Ortiz and Anthony Joshua's situation to refer to, where there's a clear case of ducking, and the PBC and Al Haymon not wanting Ortiz to fight Anthony Joshua, effectively pricing themselves out. You see Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, the PBC, Al Haymon advising Deontay Wilder not to even negotiate with Anthony Joshua, avoiding $100 million contract just not to fight Anthony Joshua. Then you have the Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. fight, and at the end of the day, Errol Spence Jr. is looking to avoid that fight. Al Haymon, you can clearly see the writing on the wall. They don't even mention Terrence Bud Crawford. They avoid him at all costs, taking on many other challengers. Even when they say strap season, they'll fight a little Mikey, and they say, well, he's trying to unify with Sean Porter. That's a great fight. I have no doubts that's an interesting fight, but here's the problem with that fight. He called out Manny Pacquiao first. He didn't go and call out Bud Crawford a chance to unify, to be truly strap season. He didn't call out Bud Crawford a chance to be a pound for pound elite fighter. He didn't call him out. He didn't want those things. He didn't want the biggest payday, because believe you me, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. is a bigger payday than Manny Pacquiao at this point in his career. Let's be honest and unbiased. That's going to generate more views, more eyes, because the outcome is going to be a lot more competitive of a fight. And you have to be honest and unbiased when you look at it. So that's another fight the PBC threw under the bus. The PBC also threw under the Jermall Charlo versus Danny Jacobs. You have to understand that Danny Jacobs was signed with Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing, and they wanted to make the fight with Jermall Charlo after he confronted Jermall Charlo, punked him out in backstage, in New York. And at the end of the day, Jermall Charlo had nothing to say. He was uninterested, and he was clowned by Danny Jacobs. Why were they not trying to make that fight? Because they know that they can't afford for Jermall Charlo to lose to Danny Jacobs. They know they can't. They want to lose his O to a Canelo Alvarez. That's who they want to lose Jermall Charlo's O to. They want to get him the biggest payday possible and lose his O to Canelo Alvarez. But why not fight Danny Jacobs? Why have him talking about Danny Jacobs like he's nothing? And people badmouth Danny Jacobs. This how you know that these guys aren't purists of boxing. This is bad for boxing. And then the final fight that we're going to address here is the, Gervonta Tank Davis versus Vasil Lomachenko. Why is Mayweather Promotions, PBC, and Al Haymon avoiding that fight? Because everyone says Tank Davis is a hard puncher. He's an elite puncher. He has boxing skills. He has all the potential in the world. He's 24 years old. He has his man strength. He's no longer green. Tank Davis has the experience. Well, then why is he not stepping in with Vasil Lomachenko? Why is he not stepping up and taking that fight? Why will Mayweather Promotions continue to baby him and baby him and baby him? Because in my opinion, Mayweather Promotion is just simply the shell promoter company for the PBC and Al Haymon. Because Tank Davis is advised by Al Haymon, but promoted by Mayweather Promotions. We have to be honest and unbiased when we see this situation. And all of these fighters, Errol Spence, Jermall Charlo, Tank Davis, Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz, all of these guys are bad for boxing because of the PBC is having these guys duck the best competition available. Even Tank Davis is ducking and avoiding Tevin Farmer, a guy who feels like it's easy work. Well, it's easy work. Stop him, get the belt, and bring it back to your side, because that's what's good for boxing. If he's easy work, right? I think Tevin Farmer is a difficult fight for Tank Davis. Some people disagree. That's fine. Let's see it. But these guys don't want to see it. And you say, well, how can you overcome this? Well, you have to overcome this by Danny Jacobs, Andy Ruiz. These guys are both have manager and advisor in Al Haymon. So that's how you know it's ultimately the fighter's decision. When guys say, well, it's out of I'll blame all Al Haymon in the PBC. Well, some of this relies on Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz, Errol Spence Jr. This is their fault, because ultimately it's their decision to take the advice or not. They have a choice, and I can prove it to you, because Danny Jacobs is still advised by Al Haymon, but signed with Matchroom and takes the fights he wants. Andy Ruiz just joined the PBC is advised by Al Haymon, is in deep negotiation with Matchroom Boxing to make the Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua fight. So let's be honest and unbiased. If you got a guy that really wants a fight, he's going to override Al Haymon and take the fight. These guys are plain ducks. The PBC and Al Haymon are cancer for boxing. But once again, unbiased as always, it's the IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.